Good morning. This is Jonathan Gorman from iCreative, and today we're going to talk about the camera app for phones that are an iPhone 6, 6S, 7, 8, and so on. If I were to go into the camera app, it's going to look differently than the camera app in newer phones. So I wanted to make a video that would accurately depict what you might be seeing on your phone. So right out of the gate, we've got a handful of apps at the top of the screen. We've got the flashlight, the live app, the timer, and the filters button. I'm going to start on the top left and work my way across, and then we're going to talk about the bottom part of the screen. So right now, if I tap on the lightning bolt icon, that opens up the flashlight, and the flashlight settings are pretty important, or the flash settings rather, not flashlight, simply because we want to be able to control how the flash is used and when it's used. Most of the time you can leave this feature on auto and it will determine how much light is coming in and make proper adjustments for you. If you're in certain situations and it doesn't seem to be coming on when you want or expect it to, you can always turn the feature on by tapping on. Or you can also, at any time, just turn it off completely. So most of the time, we're going to leave the setting on auto. Next up, you're going to see the live button, which is going to shoot a little bit of video on the front and back end of when you actually hit the shutter button. And when you see the arrow or the line going through the icon, you know that the feature is turned off. When it's yellow, you can see that the feature is turned on. Most of us are going to want this turned off most of the time because really what we're after is just taking normal photos. We're not trying to take photos where the the video will record on the beginning and the end of the shutter button. Next up, we've got the timer, where this is really effective for all of the times when you want to, lean your phone up against a tree and run over with your friend and get a picture of both of you. And if you tap on the three setting, that will make it delay by 3 seconds. You'll see a little timer countdown after you hit the shutter button, or you can do it up to 10 seconds. And this is really handy because as you look at the screen of the phone, you can see its countdown and it makes a little noise to let you know what's happening. So I'm going to turn this off, and I know that I've turned it off because I hit the white, not the yellow. Last but not least, up at the top, we've got our filter. And once you click on this, you're going to notice at the bottom that there's this new slider. And the slider is super easy to use. I'm just dragging back and forth, and you can see that it's applying right out of the box a really easy to use filter that's going to make dramatic changes as to how the lighting or the effect of the image is at the time that I take the photo. So if you know that you want to take a photo in black and white, this is a really quick, easy way to do it. And you can also see in the top right of the screen now that the filter icon has turned colorful to let you know that that feature has been enabled. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to slide back over to original. And now when I tap on the screen, I also wanted to point out that when you tap on the screen, you're going to have the opportunity to change the amount of exposure. So what I'm doing right now is once I tap on it once, you're going to see this little gold or yellow box appear with this line with a little sun icon. I can try to aim for that little sun icon if I want to, but that's not necessary. If I just drag up and down with my finger, with one finger on the display, in the middle of the display, then I'm able to make these really dramatic changes. So that's kind of fun and a good thing to know about for sure. And next, I wanted to also point out that at the bottom, we really have a wheel that scrolls across. The wheel allows me to jump from time lapse to slow-mo to video. Now, anything that has anything to do with video, the shutter button is going to turn into a red button, which means that that's when we're going to start and stop our video. Photo is pretty self-explanatory. The 1x near the word photo at the bottom, towards the bottom of the screen, shows me what I've zoomed in as in terms of my zoom settings. But as I pinch and separate my two fingers, I'm able to zoom in or out very closely and see what I'm trying to capture up close. So next up, I can go to portrait mode. I can also take photos in square, and I can also use the pano feature. So I'm in our conference room right now here at iCreative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my camera up, and this is our conference room. And so as I look around the room, I can see that if I wanted to, I could try to get a pretty good 180-degree view of this room. So what I'm going to do now, the goal here is to keep that arrow pointed at the yellow line, and I'm going to tap on the shutter button, and then as I move the camera, I'm really just trying to keep the white arrow pointed as closely to that yellow line as possible as I move my way across the room. And you can see that the camera is trying to tell me to slow down if I'm moving too quickly. And when I get to the end, I just hit the shutter button again. And that's how I was able to take a panoramic photo. Now, in the bottom left-hand corner of the image that we're seeing now, I can tap on that image, and that's going to allow me to see the good work that I just did. And this is a really great way to preview what you've done so that you can get a better feel for the photos that you're taking at the time that you're taking them. So you can kind of double check your work and make sure that everything is working out as it should. If I want to go back to the camera, I'm going to use the top left arrow, and that's going to put me right back into the camera app. A lot of people get kind of confused by that. So I'm going to do that one more time. In the bottom left, if I tap on a preview of the image, I can tap top left on that arrow, and that brings me back to the camera app, or I can do top right, take me to all photos. That takes me out of the camera app entirely and over to the Photos app where I can look at all of the photos that I've taken. I hope this helps, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks again for tuning in.